You're listening to WXOX LP Louisville, and this is Flanger Magazine. My name is Ben, and with me right now we've got J.Kyle Mann. He is the host, the proprietor, the creator. I'd say a genius, a basketball analyst style. He's turning red. He's of course, but he's smiling. I'm happy to have him in the studio. I don't have a lot of guests, but I love basketball. And when I found out that DimeDrop.net is based here in Louisville, I thought, well, what better thing than to get you on? It's so great to have you. Say hello to the audience.
Hey, how's it going? It's awesome to be here.
Okay, fantastic. I just want to get around to some basketball things because I've been following the NBA pretty crazy this year because they gave away the free first week. And that's the first time I had NBA League Pass. So I probably
the trial period thing.
Yes, and I watched probably like 50 games. I thought to myself, this is how they get you. They sink their teeth into you, and then you want that full. A
taste.
They just give you a little taste, and then you're back for more. Okay, some of the big questions I have about the NBA this year. Okay, here's the other thing. I'm a Kentucky basketball fan most of my life. So I've been following the NBA too more and more because, you got to follow those old faces that you know and love.
Our sons,
yes,
as I call them, yeah.
Yes, you feel like they're part of your family, so you have to keep up. But how are they doing? And so, for years I was watching the Wizards thinking, John Wall's going to turn this franchise around. These Wizards are going to be something special. And then so this year, things are not going off to a great start. I think they're like 1-8, something like that. And I think to myself, okay, what is it? Did some angry old witch put a curse on Dwight Howard so that wherever he goes, things just fall apart? Is there any truth to that rumor?
Some older Roma person, that's the politically correct. We don't say gypsy anymore. That's what I've been told. Anyway,
no, we certainly don't say gypsy. Some do, and hey, it's all okay. So. I shouldn't have brought up the curse.
Well, I was thinking and it dragged me to hell where something happens. Dwight actually refused to give someone some change, I guess, maybe on the street in Orlando, and he got cursed. Yeah.
Yes, and they say, hey, the Orlando Magic, people go, why did they come up with that? Some people go, well, it's something to do with Disney, Disney World. It's a magical place and so on. And no, it's because there are roaming gypsies on the streets that if you don't give them the change, you will be cursed in every franchise you go to.
That's why no free agents will sign there. That's the reason. You just pinpointed it.
Yeah, they don't like to talk about it either.
Little talked about, It's the underbelly of the NBA.
Here at Flanger Magazine, we press, we will go where other places, other people won't go. I mean,
the government's trying to suppress your show. It's what I've read that on in the deep web. Yeah,
it is true, and that is why I say this every week. I do live off the grid, and that is for a reason. I come in here once a week with armed guards. Of course,
he has a mask on. You guys can't see it, but this guy has a mask on, and he's protecting his identity.
And that's not a Halloween thing. Halloween's over. Like I said, we're in the month of Thanksgiving, and
it's bothersome. Yeah.
Okay, so you have confirmed some of my feelings about Orlando. Let's move on to another.
We went to a place there. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So another area that I'm confused with is you got nobody's beating the Golden State Warriors. Everybody says that for years. They're so good. They've got 5 NBA All-Stars. Boogie's on the bench, but last year we were thinking, oh, we have a chance. The Rockets could beat they could beat them, and they could have beat them.
We collectively have a chance for the Empire to come down? Is that
yes,
what
I mean? Okay. This evil Empire needs to come down, and I thought, no, I don't like the Rockets. I don't like their brand of basketball where it's, okay, I'm going to dribble around a pick and then act like I'm shooting and getting fouled 30 times a game so that I can pump up my stats. I don't love the Rockets, but I'd like to see those dirty Warriors go down. Now, what is going on with the Rockets? Because they're also very bad this year, and I think this is another cursed player, Carmelo Anthony. What were they thinking bringing Carmelo Anthony to the Rockets? And what's going on?
I don't know. I've never really been much of a Carmelo guy going back.
No, me neither.
I mean, he was good at Syracuse, but after that, I'd really never enjoyed his style of play. And
I completely agree with that. I've always thought Carmelo Anthony was a bit of a. He was, some people say, "Hey, you're a ball hog," and that's fine. It's like Michael Jordan, ball hog. He can do it. You can do it. That's fine. But if you're Carmelo Anthony and you're, what is he, 55 years old now?
Actually, he's just a little older than me. Actually, I think he's 34.
It was the same draft as LeBron, surprising enough. But Yeah, so the Rockets, so now they're going to be terrible. Who will challenge the Warriors, I guess, is my main question. You follow this stuff. You get into the details. Who has the best chance, either in the West or the East? I don't see the East doing it, but, I mean, you got Giannis. And they got Middleton. He's on fire. The Bucks are coming up. You never thought someone would say the Milwaukee Bucks are an okay team. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, Milwaukee, the city, is a force to be reckoned with for once. Actually, well, their baseball team was good this year. The Brewers were in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
right?
I don't follow baseball, but I will I'll take your word on that because but Milwaukee, that's Wisconsin, right?
They have beer going for them.
They've got beer and they got cheese. Wisconsin's a heck of a town, but
some good public institutions up there. Madison, I've heard, is lovely. But yeah, to answer your question, I would say, the Rockets. Obviously, I think that the Celtics are a team that's built to beat them because the Celtics have probably the best collection of perimeter defensive talent in the league, and if you're gonna have to guard a lot of space quickly and efficiently if you're playing the Warriors, and I think they're equipped to do it. But
I think that's the right answer. I had that written down. Boss Celtics was the right answer to that question, and look at this, folks. He comes up with it right off the top of his head. I'm also thinking, hey, I'd love to see the Celtics trade and get Anthony Davis because this is probably one of the best players I've ever seen.
Oh well, I had a hot take then. Now that we're on here, I'm gonna. I've run this off of some people. I like to lean into trades to the point that they sting a little bit. I'm a person
sure.
like if I think when a value is at an all-time high,
like Anthony Davis is, how many star players are you going to trade for Anthony Davis?
Well, this was my take. The other night, Shimi Ojale played really well for the Celtics, and I was like, trade Jaylen Brown tomorrow. That was my take. I lean into stuff like that.
Yes, because he's looking good. It's just like you can get rid of Jaylen Brown. You can get rid of. But are you going to get rid of any of the main pieces?
No, they're not. I think the only reason it's a preposterous idea. I think the only reason you would trade Brown is if you could get like a not just an All NBA type guy, like a decade long All NBA type guy, which is what Davis is. There's a short handful of those guys in the league at any given time. Probably 5 guys.
Yeah,
I'd say Steph, Durant, LeBron, KD, or I already said him. And
Giannis, the Claw.
Yeah, Giannis, and
the
then
Greek Freak, the Claw. You got that's like 5 or 6 players
that I think you would just trade in any situation you trade for him. But I was saying that I had the same feeling about Isaiah Thomas when he was doing well in the playoffs. I was like, they should trade him seriously tonight. They should trade him. And Ainge is ruthless. I think Ainge thinks a little bit like me. Maybe I should go try to get a job with him. But I think it should sting. I think any good trade, people should be like, that hurt a little bit. But that's how you get the most value. Yeah,
unbelievable that. The Isaiah Thomas thing you bring up, that was a strange thing. It teaches a lot of lessons. It makes sense when you watch Kawhi Leonard last year sit out. People are ragging on him. People are ragging on Butler for kind of doing the same thing. But when you basically run your body you're like an all-star, amazing talent. They run your body into the ground. You get nothing for it, and then what's he out like $80 million or something because he had a terrible season in Cleveland, and then
it sounds like he maybe got to the point where he thought his poop smelled a little better than it actually did. That's what I thought. I thought he was the product of a good system.
Yes,
and he was elevated a little bit, but you're never going to win a title with Isaiah Thomas as your best player.
He's too small. Is that it? You think he's just too small?
Isaiah Thomas isn't a secondary piece or even a tertiary piece. I think he's he's a second unit type guy that can come in and you put really good defenders around him because you have to hide him on defense. And he's not a distributor. So
okay, let's not kick a man while he's down. This guy is.
Well, I wasn't a fan of him when he was healthy. I mean, he's fine, but I'm getting a lot of synthesizer in my headphones. Are you getting that too?
I just took it off.
Oh, okay. I was like, we're setting a vibe in here. If that's your vibe, I didn't know.
Certainly, synthesizer is a Flanger Magazine vibe. When I get into basketball, I try to. Here's what I do when I'm out shooting hoops with the folks, the friends and
like your parents.
Yeah, we go shooting hoops all the time. But when I do that, I don't bring my synthesizer out of the car. It's always on me. It's in my trunk, of course.
You should. That'd be an amazing idea. You'd be the synthesizer guy. You bring a little amp and set up.
Some people, back in the '90s would have a sort of a radio on their shoulder. I just have a sort of mini synthesizer that I stack up on my shoulder, and of course, it's sort of a gimmick. Yeah. People go, "That's that guy."
Do you get a lot of, "Hey, get the hell out of here, buddy"? You ever get that?
I certainly do. I get a lot of, "Hey, you got to plug that into something if you want to hear it."
Yeah. You're gonna have to fashion a battery pack for that? Yeah.
Yeah. There's no speakers on that synthesizer, you dummy. I hear that. These are the things I hear
at the courts. Do you go down to Wyandotte and like?
I hit up all the spots all around town. Sometimes I go a little bit outside of town. If I'm trying to, some people have sort of a gambling thing going on, and
in general, there are a few people.
And
have
I'm
that,
not saying I do, but when you go to enough courts and you've gambled in enough of them, they start to say, "Oh, this guy's he's sort of a hustler." It's another thing they throw around at me.
Yeah,
he comes up, he plays a few games looking like garbage, and then he brings out the synthesizer and starts dunking on me, and it's very embarrassing to get dunked on by a man with the synthesizer.
Okay, so literally dunking. I was saying you were like playing the synthesizer well next to the court. I was trying to understand, like, you perform poorly as a player, and then you got your synthesizer out.
Then I get the synthesizer
and you
out.
Metaphorically dunked on people with your skills on the synthesizer. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's great. I use the synthesizer as sort of it's sort of a thing in between me and the ball. I do a hook shot. The synthesizer's in my left hand. I got it on my left shoulder. Do a hook shot with my right hand. They can't get near it. So it's a lot of fun.
It's
and
unconventional, but yeah.
And the synthesizer's all beat up. I don't even know if it works anymore.
Is it a Moog?
It's a Moog. It's a classic Moog, and it's taken quite a few spills, hard spills to the cement. And so, like I say, I'm afraid to plug it in to see if it works anymore because I'm almost certain it won't. Anyways,
it makes for a good story, though. It really does.
Well, these are all just true stories about basketball here in the great state of Kentucky, and of course the Kentuckiana area, as I was mentioning. Okay, so we've kind of covered some big NBA topics, but
broad strokes here.
Just broad strokes. We're not getting into the details.
Yeah, painting by number here.
Okay, so here's another thing. Looking at your Twitter, I see a little boy with a Phoenix Suns shirt on. Is that you?
That's a photo. There's a little story. What do you mean? Are you interested in hearing?
I'm certain. Oh, well, that's why I asked about it.
Okay.
Is this guy from
I
Phoenix?
didn't want to divulge.
Is he a Suns fan? This is not something I think you've mentioned on your. Maybe you have, but
I haven't.
Did you grow up just like praising at the altar of Barkley, or what made you a Suns guy?
You know what, Ben? My story is when I was a kid. I came from modest means, not shabby. I grew up, a normal kid. Didn't want for much, had a normal childhood. But one thing was, my parents didn't really have a lot of interest in getting me some of the NBA gear I wanted when I was a kid. They thought, to them a jersey was, that's
it's
good
a jersey,
enough.
Any jersey will do.
But to me, I'm like, hey Mom, I need the Jordan, I need the reversible Jordan, I need the blue Penny Hardaway jersey, I need those things.
Okay,
and Mom came home one day. Mom came home one day.
That's a good story.
Mom came home one day and was like, check it out, Dan Marley, and I was like.
Dan Marley.
I was
wow,
that's Thunder Dan, exciting. That's cool. He's sort of an idol for all white guys in the NBA. But no, so naturally, instead of fretting over it, Dan Marley he's my favorite player. Just because I got that's the beauty of being a kid.
Yes, then you embrace it. You say, well, okay, I guess I'm a Dan guy. I'm one of you might be a Jordan or a Penny.
You guys can have those transcendent talents.
Yes.
I'll take Dan Marley.
I'll take the underdog every time. And that's why I'm such a big UK fan.
Which is a great segue to Kentucky basketball.
This is exactly what I was doing. But I will say, I started watching. I've become a fan of the game, a classic. Just loving the game, learning how to shoot. I'm around 8 or 9, 10 years old. And what year is that? 1995, 1996. And then you can't fall in love with a team at a better time when they go to 3 straight championships.
So are we the same age? Is that the kind of? I'm 33.
33 as well.
Oh, well, it sounds like we had a similar trajectory of fandom there. Then
we certainly did. I think we certainly did. Okay, so let's talk about college basketball. We got Kentucky, and they've been playing games. And I'll be honest, I saw all the where was it? The Bahamas that they played in. You did some great videos on that. Some really great detail-oriented videos, and I thought they looked pretty incredible in the Bahamas against some pretty older professional talent. I thought if they can do this to what was that purple team? The titled NBA player. I can't. It's a weird name.
The purple team. Are you talking about Mega BMax?
Yes,
the
Mega
Serbian team.
Yes, Mega BMax. They've had so many NBA players. They made them look like children out on the court, and they were the children. We were just. It was very confusing. So I was so excited. I thought, this is going to be one of those great years for Calipari and the Cats. And then these last two.
Do you think in a broadcaster voice like that, it's going to be wonderful for the Cats?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that way, and then I come on here and I just give it to the audience the way they want to hear it, and that is in the most generic broadcaster voice you can do. Okay, so they have these exhibition games, and to be honest, they don't look that great. What's going on? Are they getting psyched out about the big Duke game on Tuesday?
I think a number of things are at play. I think that the first on the bullet point would be being there in person. I observed that a lot of these teams were out late, having a good time. They were paid. What people don't understand, I think, is that Kentucky paid for those teams to come to the Bahamas. So you think
there was a level of let's not beat them?
No. I think there was a level of
we're having fun going to the Bahamas.
Yes, this is a trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
They brought us down here to get our butts kicked by these youngsters. Kentucky, and also a lot of these teams are in flux, where like the Bahamian national team, that's just basically like a glorified, like it's not a lot of their best players weren't even there, Buddy Hield wasn't there, and DeAndre Ayton wasn't there, and
that would have made a little bit of a difference having
minuscule. I think the needle might have moved a little bit, and then also you got to think Kentucky's been practicing, and a lot of it's similar to I went to Summer League too, and you're watching a lot of like really remedial sort of action going on the offensive end, really just. It's a lot of like dribble drive type situations where it's not really organized or sophisticated high level schematic things going on, and you had an experienced team come in, like Indiana, Pennsylvania, and they were that was a veteran team that had their stuff in and they were ready to go, and Kentucky still has a little ways to go. They have some defensive talent, but they're not schematically where they should be.
Have you seen any of the Duke exhibitions or anything they've done? Because I've seen some of their great freshmen. Who's the Canadian player?
R.J. Barrett, the wing.
Yes,
in the
I saw
north.
him play in the. I guess I don't know what it was. The Summer World, whatever, and he was
FIBA.
Yes, FIBA. I saw him play a few games in FIBA, and he was quite impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was surprised to hear that. Well, I don't know who's the 1, 2, and 3 on Duke. Do you know that you got the Zion?
They have a 2, 3, 4. They have Cam Reddish is a 2, and then this is the way I think it's going to shake out. They actually have a freshman, Trey Jones, that's going to play point. That's Tyus Jones' younger brother.
Okay. And
then they have Cam Reddish, who's 6'8", and R.J. Barrett, who's 6'7", and then they have Zion, who's about 6'6"-ish. And 265, now 270.
Yes, well, he's losing weight. I saw him. I've seen him here and there. A year ago, I thought this is going to be like the next big baby, or he just has a big presence of him. And I've seen him. He's lost some weight. So good on you, Zion. You're looking good. I saw him dunk from the free throw line. That's also impressive. And okay, so here's my prediction. And I'm just gonna put a score out there
for Tuesday night. You're talking about
it's going to be Duke 90. Kentucky 86.
Oh, okay.
It's a high-scoring game for an exhibition, but they will be flying down the court. There's going to be a lot of dunks. It's going to be it's going to be fun to watch. I'll tell you that much. And
it would behoove Duke to make the pressure. This year, I think it would behoove Duke to play smaller and to play faster, because I think Zion can play the 5, and I think that because he's obviously athletic enough to erase pretty much anything from the weak side.
I'll be honest, there's every once in a while I see a player do stuff that makes me go, I can't believe someone did that. And like it only happens maybe for one player a year at tops, or maybe less. Anthony Davis was one that did that like pretty much every game, probably because of his length. But with Zion, I've already seen a couple things where he just jumps from such a distance with like no like run up to it, and I'm like, how did he just? So it's not really fair. It's not a fair fight, is what I'm saying. And go Kentucky Wildcats. Go Big Blue. This is just this is just for the fans out there. We don't have Duke fans, as far as I know. And if I do,
I know a Duke fan, Zach Hard. He might be listening. I highly doubt it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much college basketball in a nutshell. You got Kentucky and you got Duke, and then
you also have a few other teams that are all right. Yeah, I think other teams are actually going to play. To my knowledge, I think they're going to actually have games.
Yes, isn't it like Kansas and
they're going to have games too? Yeah, and Michigan State.
Yeah.
I just mean in general this year, college basketball. Teams,
yes,
they'll be participating.
Yes,
they didn't phone it in.
I didn't mean to imply that they sort of got rid of all the other teams. No, there's going to be all 300.
All manner. Yeah, it's going to be a dog and pony show. Yeah, it's going to be really great. I think that game, it's interesting because Duke does have an advantage, obviously. They have, whereas Kentucky really only has one wing in Keldon Johnson, and if he gets in foul trouble and he can't guard all three of them, so you got to think.
Keldon Johnson's the only sort of athletic type of player that seeing him, I think, matches up well with any of those guys. His sort of bounce, his explosiveness.
Well, his motor, I think, is his biggest tool, and I think he's a pretty good two-way player for the college level. I'm not totally sold that he's going to be an NBA-level two-way player, but
no, me neither. But yet, it's early days, though. This time last year, if you told me that, I'm drawing a blank. Who's playing on the Clippers now?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
If you told me this time last year that Shai was going to be their best player at the end of the year. And what does it take? It takes practice, folks. It's what our great favorite player, Allen Iverson. I loved your feature on Allen Iverson, by the way.
Thank you.
And like you said, we're the same age. You got to watch this Allen Iverson feature you put up.
Questioning the answer.
You go through everything, and yes, those shoes were a part of it. You got to talk about the shoes and
Kicksology.
I had those kicks. I looked up to Allen Iverson, and he let me down. He lost that championship, and
you're the lone person that comes away from that with that take. I feel like most people are like, "What a fighter!"
Oh no, he's great.
You're I'm done with you.
He lost that championship. He didn't go to another one, and what a bum. What a bum. When I look up to a player and he doesn't come through with the goods, I say, "Nice try, buddy." But no dice. You're not going in the pantheon of my top 10 players.
My personal in the face.
My personal top 10 favorites. You got to win it. You got to win a ring. It's as simple as that.
Don't mean a thing without the ring. That's what Scottie Pippen says, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great quote from Scottie. What was Scottie's nickname? Did he have a nickname?
The ladies give him a lot of nicknames from what I've heard.
Okay,
but,
that's not safe. We've got the FCC listening in as they always are.
Well, they're basketball fans. Yeah, maybe they can text us and tell us the names. But I think the one other thing I wanted to say about Duke in Kentucky is that the one concern that I would have is that Kentucky does seem to lack a transcendent sort of a star. I don't think they have a top tier talent on their draft, and Duke has 3.
Yeah, well, but the difference is the depth, and then the depth. I don't know if that's going to be as much of a problem with Duke because some people are saying
depth can be a little overrated because you really only need about
6, 7, 8,
somewhere
7,
there.
6, 7, 8.
If you have 6 really good players, you can get away with that. But you can have a team that doesn't have a top tier talent on it, like Villanova was.
And they're going to be great again this year, supposedly. I mean, got a lot of upperclassmen. They still lost 3 or 4 guys, but
they lost most of their starting lineup other than Eric Pascal. I'm pretty positive, but and I think they Phil Booth back.
Okay, then let's get into some things that are a little more controversial. Some people say, and you sort of mentioned this earlier with Kentucky, that they're just doing a dribble drive thing, and some people go, okay, Calipari doesn't even coach; he just rolls the balls out. This guy just rolls the balls out and sees what happens, and he actually doesn't even coach.
You would think that people would just be tired of that by now.
It is getting tiring. These
anybody that watches closely knows that Cal coaches, and he has a staff that coaches. And Cal actually is kind of notoriously a yeller. He's very not hands off.
He does yell quite a bit, and
he and Kay both are pretty
very scary on the court. But see, they're very smart to be when they're off the court. hey, that was just tough love, and I love you, and you're my son. And this is the type of relationship he has with his players, apparently. And that's the way you got to go, because Bobby Knight, he'll punch you on the court, he'll punch you off the court.
Yeah.
And
that guy, the
not
cameras
literally.
are on
I'm not
or
saying
off.
literally, hey,
Well, he has shot someone. So
is that true?
He apparently accidentally shot someone on a hunting trip.
So it was a Dick Cheney sort of thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't Dick Cheney to my knowledge,
but it was a sort of, I just mean situation where you shoot somebody out in the hunting, out in the forest. You say duck, and then like you're going to shoot at a duck.
Hey,
duck. When you mean duck, when you mean get down,
yeah.
and then he shoots him in the back of the, I guess the head or the back.
Or you're just yelling at a duck before you get their attention. Hey, duck. And then you shoot them.
Yeah, then you shoot the duck. So of course you always.
It's only courteous to get an animal's attention before you shoot them.
It's like a deer, deer in the headlights. It's when you yell duck at a duck that seems to really. They get shocked. They look at you. That gives you that 1 or 2 seconds to just take aim and look into the. And as they say, don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. And so that's the thing. You want to make sure the duck's looking directly at you before you.
You gave just a real cathartic sort of exhale as you just take aim. That was unsettling. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, here's where it comes from. It comes from hundreds of hours as a child playing Duck Hunt, a classic video game that only people of our age and older are going to know about. But there's what I'm concerned about is if I miss that duck, there's going to be a dog laughing hysterically at me. And, it's embarrassing.
That's how you basically. It's sort of a philosophy I think to live by. Basically, you should take aim at your dreams, or there's going to be some dog there. That would be a cruel afterlife, wouldn't it? If you just failed.
And there's a dog.
That was hell. Is just the
dog just keeps popping up.
That
everywhere.
dog keeps just raising up and laughing at you. All your pursuits were failures. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people say at the afterlife is you look. You have to. If you didn't do well enough. If you didn't.
And there's a rubric out there. You just got. We disagree on what it is.
Everybody disagrees on what that rubric is and what it means to live a good life.
Yeah.
But so as the saying goes, you have to watch your life over and over again. Now,
that dog
just keeps popping up in everything you did wrong. That dog just pops up in that. It's sort of like an IMAX theater they give you, which is nice.
Yeah,
you got
at least it's an IMAX.
It's like an IMAX air conditioned theater. You got popcorn, but it does last.
They did actually just put in the reclining seats too.
I love that. I love that. Just like one place does it, and then all of a sudden every place.
It's
does
even
in
hell now. Yeah, yes. Satan was like, we
got to do the reclining seats. Otherwise, no one's
pressure's on.
No one's gonna want to come to hell anymore. Nobody's gonna worship me.
What will people say? Yeah.
Yes. So the whole afterlife thing is big in basketball circles. People always talk about this. Is another thing. People do talk about this on the basketball court a lot. But
the afterlife?
Yeah. The afterlife is big in basketball. It's a spiritual game. It's a game of finesse. It's a game of ghosts and spirits, and it's why it starts right around Halloween.
That's actually why. Yeah, I actually throw a lot of Thomas Aquinas quotes after I hit shots. Yeah. I'm known for that. Yeah,
it's one of those classic things to be Thomas Aquinas is good. I myself I like to talk. To say I'm going to do a quote by who am I thinking of right now?
Soren Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Or Sisyphus. The myth of Sisyphus is something I bring up all the time. It's like, hey, I dunked the basketball here, but then I got to go down the court again. It's always you dunk the rock, and you got to push the rock down the court again. It's the same story as Sisyphus, and good on you, Kierkegaard, for coming up with that old tale. Or was it just, or maybe it was in the Bible? I don't. It's been a long time since philosophy 101.
You might need to just dust back up on some of that. Yeah, for sure. But.
Okay, well, have we covered everything we need to cover in the world of basketball? Just about. Just about.
Is that an iPhone 1?
I've got the iPhone 1 here. It's great for music. It's great. Great for as an iPod. The classic first screener, I think, is what it is.
That's amazing.
A lot of people said, hey, the roll was great. I never was a fan of the roll.
With the roll, what roll am I thinking about?
The Circle iPods.
Oh yeah.
I always
we didn't know any
terrible.
better back then.
And people said a revolutionary way to go through music. I say
I'd
a
like
really
to just
annoying
press a
way.
button.
Yeah, if they were all buttons, it'd be much faster. So circling your finger millions of times a day.
What was the argument there? Was that the buttons break faster? They wear out? Is that what it was?
I think the argument no,
because then they went right back to the button on the phone. So what? That makes
sense.
That
wasn't the argument. The argument was simpler, better. and that's
Yeah.
it. If as long as if it's one thing, that's all it needs to be is one thing.
Yeah.
Multiple buttons, too confusing for the human being who's evolved for
Yeah,
hundreds of
time.
thousands of years. We don't
Think of the time you're going to save. Yeah.
just using one button. It's like, why don't we have a telephone with just one button and then we click?
Well, we do. We call those jitterbugs. Yeah, those are. You press the button and you say, "Sarah, connect me to my uncle." You never seen a jitterbug phone?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a phone for advanced humans in age, and they typically it's who it's marketed towards that wants something, and they just press a button and say, "Call my grandson, call mine," and then they connect them. And it
So they're talking to a little.
Like
So literally, it's like
switchboard.
talking to a secretary, kind of.
I'm
sorry.
I could be wrong, but I always think of Sarah and Andy Griffith. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how we got on that.
Well,
but
the jitterbug is. Well, I pulled out my iPhone 1.
It was me. It was me.
It was you derailing the conversation,
Yeah, it
but
was
hey, that's fine. I was sort of at a loss there, saying where do we go from here in basketball? You got the Knicks. Who cares? You got. We can start going through teams. They're going to be boring until they have all their stars back.
The Knicks need to be bad. I have some Knicks fan friends, and they want to be bad. They basically are just like enjoying.
Yeah, that was a question I did want to ask. Where do you? At what point in the season do you decide? Say not maybe the Knicks, but a team that's could be in the playoffs, but it's going to be at the very bottom if they're going to be. What point in the season do you decide? Hey, let's just go ahead and lose as many as we can.
In the abstract, I mean, I would think that could happen anytime, and I think it does happen anytime. But
so the Suns, I would say,
they knew well in advance what they were doing. I think for sure.
But for instance, the Suns have Ayton and they got Booker now, who I think are going to be two very important pieces, and they could be great in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say they're going to be important. Yeah.
Yeah. So this year, though, I mean, I don't think they're doing very good.
Well, there's a few asterisks there. There's, Booker's been injured. He's on sort of a bum hamstring right now, a bum string, and it would behoove them to be bad again, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need a couple more stars.
You need to let your young players just be young. That's my philosophy. Throw them out there. I've never understood.
But let them play. Let them play.
Let them fail.
Yes.
Throw some paint against the canvas. Realize it sucks. Do another one. I think like the Kings. They're just perpetually making just idiotic moves, like signing a bunch of veterans.
They've been terrible terrible with decisions for, I guess, as long as I've been following them, 10 or 15 years, following them in some way. But this year it feels like it could be a little different. You got Fox
is
playing out of
bad.
his mind, and then you got Buddy Hield, and you got
Giles
Cauley
is
Stein
healing.
doing a serviceable job, picking up alley-oops every 5
Yeoman's
seconds.
work, yeah.
So I've been a kind of a Kings. I've never been a one-team guy in the NBA, which is nice because you can kind of
easier that way.
You can kind of just pick and choose who you like to follow every year, and you don't have any real emotional attachment.
I always say I watch a really good game in the NBA. It ends in on a last-second shot.
That's always the best.
I go to bed,
Yeah.
sleep like a baby.
That's-
Don't care. I'm like
That
not a care in the world.
That is the best. It could be between two teams you don't even care about. If you get in those last few minutes where it is a close game and it comes down to a last-second shot, oh man, yes. Turn off the lights. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm ready to sleep for a full 8 hours.
Yes.
Maybe even more because
Maybe even
I
more
feel like
because
a
of
babe
what-
because just that was such an amazing moment.
Yeah.
And hey, I need some rest after that excitement.
But having a college
if you don't
team,
love that, you don't love NBA basketball, as they say.
why don't they should just dictate what you just said, just transcribe it and put
I
it.
know.
That's
Come
a
up with
script.
these things all the
That's a
time.
script.
Yeah.
But having a college team, I mean, it's a disease. That's what I always tell people.
It
I
is.
actually don't enjoy having a team. It's
What
pretty
is your team? Or if you, I don't know if you've revealed that. If you don't want to, that's okay.
I
too.
mean,
you're sort of in the. This is your world. You don't want to come across bias. in your
no.
future.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I always tell people. I mean, if you know me and if you've been reading the tea leaves and following along at all, you can deduct that I grew up a Kentucky fan. I mean, it was pretty obvious. I came, my whole family Kentucky fans.
Mm-hmm.
My dad indoctrinated me with Kentucky basketball.
Well,
very
that's my
young.
theory that your dad always indoctrinates you, and I've tested this out with every single person that says they're a diehard whatever fan. I say, is it because your dad was that? And they always say yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. There's
Very hard. I've mainly met one or two people that have gone against the family, and that's what it is. It's going against the family.
Yeah, you either do that just to be obstinate, or you actually went to school there, or something happened.
Yeah,
and
something in that.
like the other night, I had somebody at where I play basketball was telling me
that they were going to switch. They were like, I'm so disgusted with my school, I want to switch over. And I was like, you can't do that. I was like,
U of L fan switching?
Yeah, I was like, you can't. Though that's just against the bylaws of fandom. I was like, because that means that you were never actually a fan of your school to begin with.
And who wants a traitor fan like that?
Yeah, I said we don't want you.
Yeah,
that's what I told him.
I would say that too. I'd say get out of here with your switching teams.
Yeah,
nonsense.
I backed up and held my hands up. I was like, no, don't say another word about it. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I didn't want to be sullied by that talk.
It is terrible. I mean, I'm almost feeling a little bit sick. You bringing that up, it makes.
Yeah, you don't look good.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible thing, to do something like that.
I didn't mean to do that. I did that to you. Sorry, but yeah, I grew up with no NBA team, just loving the NBA. I grew up in the NBA on NBC era, and I have a very, very soft spot for it in my heart. And but my
the WGN Chicago Bulls era.
I didn't have cable.
Oh.
I missed. I've had to catch up on a lot of that on old school b-ball on YouTube. That guy's channel's great. You should check it out. But yeah, so I always tell people that being a Kentucky fan does not save them from my wrath. If anything, it makes it a little bit worse. I don't really feel like I root for those guys, but if they stink, they stink. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I'm going to call it the way it is. And I didn't have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander a top 3 pick because I like him. It's like, no, reality is reality.
Yeah, reality is reality. And yeah, last year they didn't have a top 3 or 4 or 5 pick.
Yeah, they had 2
close.
top 10 picks.
Yeah,
well, no, Shea didn't end up going top 10, but he probably should have. But Knox,
in retrospect, he probably should have. But
I was pretty hard on Knox, I thought, in my video on him. And
I think you're tough but fair. I mean, Knox had a lot of potential, and he didn't live up to the potential that I think a lot of people had around him. And it's maybe Malik Monk, similar sort of. I saw Malik Monk. I thought this guy could be, next Jordan. He could be.
At what point did you think that?
I didn't ever really think that.
After
but I thought,
47-point game? I think
it might have been that. It might have been that.
We all did the little rub the condensation off our glasses. Like, is this
something? With Anthony Davis, you kind of knew this guy's on another level. He's going to be an all-star in a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And, it's just sad to me. This is the sad thing about basketball to me. When you're someone like Anthony Davis or John Wall, you go number 1, you have to be on a pretty bad team for a long time. Now,
unless you get lucky and the Celtics or have some other poor sap team's draft pick and they end up with your player that should have been your franchise player, yeah.
Well, the Celtics are a savvy, ruthless organization, and that's what that's why they continue to be successful. When your all-stars get old, and you put them out to pasture, you sell them to a flunky that doesn't know doesn't know his hand from his.
Who wants a sideshow for a season, and you
and just trade you all these great top 10 draft picks, and hey, we don't know what to do with them anyways. We probably would have screwed it up anyway. So here you go, here they are. Yeah. Take them all.
It's sort of like in The Wire when Weebay lets Naaman go live with the police officer. It's sort of like that. I would screw him up. Just go live with Bunny Colvin. I don't know if you've ever watched The Wire.
I've watched The Wire. It's been a while, so that reference is. I'm just trying to think back. What? That's a good reference.
Yeah.
What you're talking about there. But no, I do get what you mean. Just going all in on being an idiot, I guess, is kind of what maybe the Brooklyn Nets did there. Okay, so now we're on the Brooklyn. I don't know.
Are we just going one by one?
No. I don't want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets.
See your numbers plummeting.
I don't think I could talk about the Brooklyn Nets for more than 10 seconds.
What do you think about Sean Marks? Let's hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, folks, what you're hearing here is top analyst stuff. And I can't say this enough. You got to go to dimedrop.net. Is it the Dime Drop on YouTube or is it just Dime Drop?
Yeah, I mean most frequently updated is the Dime Drop on YouTube. But right now I'm doing stuff on the Ringer's YouTube channel.
This is great. You're doing these little focus videos on a player that you think could maybe be a better player pretty soon, mm-hmm. or looking on their past and are they somebody that could turn into a, I don't know, what's the term you use? Not a franchise player, but
we're talking about, can they enter the all-star conversation?
Oh, yeah,
what we talk about on there.
So it would be, yeah.
And I'm working on one right now.
I haven't really announced it, but I basically tweet out basically what I'm working on. It's easy to deduct. But I'm working on one on Jamal Murray right now that should be done this week.
That is that's another good pick. These are things that some people, they don't see it. They see it on TV. They say, if he had a good game, he's great. You got to watch the long term. You got to look at the stats.
Macro, yeah.
Are you more of I'm a stats guy, or you can see it on the court? There's people that say, I don't trust these advanced stats. They're shifty. It says this player is really great, but I watch him. He doesn't seem that great.
Yeah. It's funny because when I started doing this a little more seriously, I was definitely 100% an eye test person. Like I would watch.
Yes.
But I would watch a lot of footage, and I would just let that be. That was my opinion, and it didn't. To be honest, it didn't really steer me wrong a lot. I felt like I had a decent sense of what I was looking for. But the more I got into it, the more I was like, it behooves me to kind of figure out, just incorporate
to be totally
these.
familiar with that stuff, and so you can do a compare contrast, and I don't know.
Here's what I do. I watch as much tape as I actually physically can stand to do, and then usually that's on the leap. I've watched about 10 to 15 games per player. I try to spread them out, pick a bad game, pick a great game, samples from all over the place. And then I'll chop them up and put them into groups, the different types of plays. I try to categorize them.
I love this.
By
You're
play.
going through the process of making your videos. So
I don't want to give that. No, we'll delete that. That's not what I do.
People love this behind the scenes stuff. It's like, you got a favorite YouTuber. It's great to see when they do these like making videos. Like here, it's like an 8-hour video. Somebody just like dragging video files in, like adding in audio.
Yeah,
I've seen some people do that, and
you don't want to sit through it.
You don't want to sit through it, but it is sometimes interesting to see how does this get put together. It does, and this is it, folks. Folks. It's a lot of work. It's not just hey, 1, 2, 3. I made a really great video.
It's a lot of time. It is a lot of time, but it's not hard work because you can't complain about it because I'm watching basketball.
You're doing good work, just watching watching basketball, and then hey, talking about that basketball, like hey, which is what we're doing right now. And and by the way, let me just also mention again, it is a volunteer service we do here at WXOX.
Okay.
And but like I said, I guaranteed 50 years of service here, and so there's 46 more years to go. And
you told them you would give them 50 years of service.
Sir, yes, I did. Yeah, it was a guarantee, and it hasn't been in writing, but I'm a man of my word.
Are you trying to get like a wing named after you, or what's your ultimate goal? Or
the goal is just to become a
legend?
To become a legend,
okay.
a radio legend, a broadcasting legend.
You're calling your shot a little bit here. Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm saying right now, I'm nowhere near this. 46 more years. I'm just thinking at some point.
I thought you were close.
At some point, I'm going to get pretty good at this, and then who knows where it'll take me. It can't take me. Here's the thing, though. It can't take me anywhere because I have to do this for 46 more years, and by then I should be retired.
Yeah,
I've sort of tied in my career to this, so I have to be good at this.
You built a low ceiling. What if you become a legend at year like 7, and then they like the people start calling, and you're like, I can't. And they're like, man, you got a lot of artistic integrity there, man. And
they're gonna say, okay, you're here's a very big contract. Your own
WNBC,
company, your own company car. You've got a loft there on I don't know where, Wall Street. Things are looking good for you if you take this offer. I'm going to say, no, thank you, sir, or ma'am. I've got 46 more years to go on this station. Flanger Magazine and WXOX needs me, and Louisville is my home. So thank you, but no thank you.
So that's what you're going to do.
Well, I'm just letting everybody know, the listeners out there, I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to be around here, and the sigh
of relief was so intense just now that
out there in Louisville and all over the world.
Forecast,
just saying we are broadcasting all over the world, and they know they don't have to find a new website. They don't have to. And by the way, you can listen on rxfm.com. You can listen on the app. You can just download the WXOX app and you press play. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm sure things will change over the next 46 years. We're gonna have brain
in general. Yeah, I think so. There'll be some changes.
We're gonna have maybe implants into our brains sometime in the next 15, 20 years. And I'd love to just be in your all's brains. That really is one of my goals. Just be in everybody's brain.
There it is. You say that? Do you say that on the patio at Knock Bar to girls? Is that one of your moves? You say that one?
Oh, it's a top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I want to be in your brain.
Yeah, They love it. Everyone loves it. It's one of those things where it doesn't come off creepy or unusual at all. And it's worked insofar as people continue talking to me. Surprisingly,
really? Yeah.
So as long as someone continues to talk to me, I say anything goes.
Right.
But
words to live by.
Words to live by, and the words I do live by here, because no one here it's a little different. It's hard for me because no one's usually nobody's talking back to me, so I just talk, and then I get the emails. Then the emails start coming in. Hey, go back to the music. Go back to the music, idiot.
Yeah.
Things lots and lots of emails in that nature.
Yeah.
And
jump off the Sherman Minton, buddy.
Yeah. So I write back, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And I just try to take things as in a positive, as positive a spin as I can do.
So do you have basketball fans on RFXM? I was curious about that. You got some hoop people?
I mean, I just imagine we're in Kentucky here, so people.
You imagine correctly. That's where we are. Yeah.
Okay, so I imagine we're in Kentucky, and I imagine that there's so many people I know that you wouldn't think are basketball people. In this station, this show, even myself, people think, oh, he's an artist, he's a musician.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about sports, and for the most part, no, I don't care a bit about sports. But hey, I grew up in I'm not a Hoosier, but close enough. Kentucky basketball is pretty important, and it's sort of a religion. And
I think we love basketball as much or more.
I would say that too. They sort of just because
how did they get that? They got that stupid movie.
It was the movie Hoosiers. I think the movie is probably half their legend, and if they never had that movie, they would be as important as like UConn or something to basketball. I think like in people's heads about what basketball is. Kansas and Kentucky, I understand. Kansas, birthplace of basketball. Mr. James Naismith, 1891, the YMCA.
Yeah, I had some arguments with people online about that because on a video I said that basketball was invented by James Naismith in America.
Yeah,
but I had a lot of Canadians who were like, "He's Canadian,
well,
therefore." But so that gets you into a tricky area there.
No, but he okay, yes, he was technically Canadian,
right? But he invented it. In
America, in the YMCA, an American institution.
Yeah.
With the help of the YMCA.
Listen, buddy, you're not going to come over here and use our facilities and then try to take credit for it. That's just not how it's going to work.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And I don't, did he end up moving back to Canada? Was he like, oh, I invented basketball, time to move back to Canada?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure he stuck around for a little bit longer.
He didn't even know what he had. Let's be honest. Come on.
Oh yeah, nobody. He probably thought,
Got a question here.
Okay, we got a question from
Matt Slindy, or Matt Slindy is his name. No, it's Max. I play basketball with Max. I'm a better shooter than him, though. He said, please ask him about his artwork being used without his permission. Ask Flanger Magazine. Is he talking about you?
Okay, well, yes, he is. There, I don't want to get deep into this, but
is there legal stuff going on?
Possibly in the future. But
okay.
It's just Naples, Italy, big music festival. Just finds art online and just go ahead and they just went ahead and used it. And so you see pictures of the big festival and all the flyers and everything, and you go, oh, I'm kind of flattered by that a little bit. But then you think, let me just message him about it and see what the deal is here.
Yeah.
And then you get kind of a rude response. You think, oh, this isn't very nice. So I'm not going to get too deep into it. But that's sort of something that's been developing lately. And
I've had people do that to me, like steal my wife's, because my wife does my artwork for me. And
I was going to ask you who did the art, because it is nice.
Oh yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, that would be amazing if I was doing the artwork too. I would be like, that would be like another level of awesome. I'm sorry to disappoint. Nope. No, Megan does that, but no, I've had people. People are weird about that stuff, not to go in. But yeah, they think that you don't need to. Art is just something that can be willy-nilly.
It's just
shut up, idiot! Shut up, wussy. I was going to use another word, but that's.
It's not, it's out there. It was somebody posted it on Pinterest. Take it up with them.
Yeah,
is the kind of response you get from some people sometimes. But it's actually real work, and sometimes people that do work don't like it.
Want to be paid.
Want to be paid to be used, or just considered. Asked is really sometimes
just
all I
me.
want. Just consider maybe asking me, and I might say sure.
Yeah,
I might just say, oh, that's so flattering. Go right ahead.
Yeah, it's very charming and flattering when people ask. It's like, and it feels nice to be asked. Yeah, I feel protective of my spouse, so I think I whenever someone uses, because people have taken the comp clouds and put them on their blogs with no
accreditation
link back to, and
that's the other thing, that bugs me the most. Just no credit. If you did credit, then you're sending people my way, and that's almost like a form of payment, because you're getting more you're getting more eyeballs, and that's what this game is all about. Putting yourself out there, getting as many eyeballs on you as possible. What's funny about you, and what's great, and you must be excited because you started this. I feel like when I started following you, you had a good number of followers, but it's really spiked up. Ever since.
What was your what was the timeline there?
I don't know, 4 months ago.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I don't know. It's but it's got to be. All I'm saying, it's got to be exciting. The number of eyeballs on these ringer vids. So you're stepping your game up. You're going deep down inside you to get
deep
the best.
Diving myself.
The best. And that's all we can do. That's all we can ask of ourselves and of each other. Demand. Well, I try to demand it from myself and from everyone else.
Well, I never even expected to be doing this period, so it's all exciting.
Life is just one crazy crapshoot.
Did you say crab shoot?
It's a crapshoot.
Do you? Okay.
Earlier we were talking about ducks.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of just talk about just assassinating animals. I don't know.
Do you consider a crab an animal?
Shooting a crab seems like a waste of ammunition.
Yeah, they are well armored for that sort of thing, but. If you get
I just meant you could kill it in an easier way. I'm sure, like spear it, or I don't know.
Oh, do the old castaway thing where you spear a crab, and you save those bullets for, I don't know, tribes or whoever else attacks you. I don't know what happened to that. He was on an island all by himself. Didn't need the gun.
Do we have some calls that we could take?
We don't have any calls.
Oh,
and we're trying to, here's the thing about WX. We're pretty soon, I think we're going to have a system where we can do that.
Okay.
We just did a fundraiser.
I could probably have somebody call us. Hey, if somebody's out there that's my friend that has my number, call me.
Here's the main thing. We've got 8 more minutes on the show. We've really time has flown by.
Oh, okay.
And we've got 8 more minutes, and then we got the next show coming on, and we got to get out of here. So I guess we should probably just wrap things up.
I've overstayed my welcome. That's what you're getting at. He has an expression on his face right now, guys. I've overstepped my bounds.
No, things are great. This has been a great show. I've loved having you on. Anytime you want to come by and do an update on the basketball.
I'll leave that to you, man. Whenever you think we've reached an interval where you send the dime signal, and I'll come.
I love this dime signal. You brought it over here. It's a big light that we're going to be putting on top of the
Fresnel
station.
Yeah, it's really big. It burns hot though. It's really, you can't really be in the same room as it.
You can only need to have it on for. I mean, how long do you think the light is in the sky before you notice it? Do you look up in the sky?
Sometimes it's hours, man.
Because myself, somebody can have a light for me. I don't know if it's not like something I do every hour. Go up and look at the sky, and see if there's a light there.
Normally, I'm looking down at my phone.
Seems like the worst way of communicating with a superhero or a radio guy or anything.
People don't talk about that. Does Batman just stand ominously looking out the window with a cup of coffee, and he's like, all right, it's time?
That's what he does have, that mansion with very tall windows. I think I do remember that. So those big, tall windows, you're going to see, and I'm sure they pointed at the same space, so he knows where to look. He's not having to look all over the sky for a light. Yeah. It's that same place out that one window.
He could also have Alfred look, I guess.
But, Alfred, and he's got other minions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're listening to Flanger Magazine. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up with some music before the next show comes in. But it's been wonderful. You got to check out dimedrop.net, and of course follow him on YouTube and on Twitter.
Go on the Ringer and watch those videos so that they'll like me. Yeah, so do that.
Yes, and like him. Make sure, if you like him in real life, and this is what I say about Flanger Magazine, if you like me in real life, but you're not liking me online, that you're not doing enough.
What's your problem?
Well,